What's up, guys? Good morning. Welcome to A Reseller's Life. My name is Chris. Thank you for joining me. We are going to do a sourcing class today and just a general overview for the whole purpose of this class, which is we're looking for multipliers. So I want everyone to write that down. You can just go find an item and then resell it. That's essentially just addition and linear. The more items you find, the more money you make. It's just one by one. However, and you just make exactly how much money you find. The purpose of this call would be to start creating some multipliers. What a multiplier would do is you create something and now inventory comes to you, or you hire someone that goes out and finds inventory for you. Now you're multiplying your time. As an example, I now have 2 scouts at the Goodwill bins, which are currently closed, but they source all day and each of them have a goal of 400 items a week. So every single Goodwill scout I hire essentially is 400 items that I don't have to find myself. That's one route of going. You can also look for creating ads. And today I want, if you guys have any good scripts for ads, I'm going to put that in today's chat on a document so that you guys can have all those ideas for your sourcing scripts. When you put an ad on Craigslist or Nextdoor or Facebook Marketplace, asking for specific items to come to you, then people can start looking for items for you. As long as you renew those ads, people will continue to bring stuff to you. I think Craigslist Hunter is a good example of this. He has 9 ads concurrently all year, and that's how he brings people to his shop. You can also create a brick and mortar where people bring stuff and sell it to you, buy, sell, trade, flipping gals. Thank you for that. Offer up does work, is great also. And then finally, this is the holy grail of reselling, which is a contract. If you have a contract with a business and at the end of their sales cycle, if you ask the question, what happens if it doesn't sell? That's the best question, because if you get it at the very end of the cycle, which is usually landfill is one way, or it gets donated, or it gets destroyed. That's the end of the cycle. If you get it at that end part of it, it can not only be free or cheap, they might even pay you to dispose of it. That's how 1-800-GOT-JUNK works. 1-800-GOT-JUNK is making a killing right now because there are no thrift shops open, especially where I live. They're offering no contact pickup. So basically, you throw all your stuff out on your driveway and they come pick it up for you and charge you to do that. So that's the holy grail. Actual contract, you can get paid to pick up people's stuff. So I'm going to maybe go around the horn and ask people sort of their best idea or their question. Let's start with William. William, good morning. Is there a challenge you have with sourcing or a tip you have for the group?
I think a tip that I have for sourcing, at least on online, what I do a lot of the time is I'll do let go or I'll do offer up. Oftentimes, you never want to send like that first like hi, is it still available? Those kind of messages, because it's kind of like they're not a cheap date. You want to make sure that their time is worth something, or you let them know that their time is worth something. So you don't send like the automated messages. You send like a personal message like, hey, I'm interested in your item. I have a few questions about it, yada, yada, yada. And then you kind of build rapport with them over text almost. And then for meetups, when you're meeting them, usually never like say like what's your address. I've got people like they'll cancel on me, like I'll be talking to them for like 30 minutes and then we'll be like, no, I don't want to give this guy my address. Usually just give them like, hey, you're like close to this area, let's meet here, I'll give you cash. Make it almost like a simple transaction for them. I think that's a big thing, at least on those platforms. I think a challenge for sourcing right now is that if you don't have something set up in stores like either big retail or like brick and mortar, it's harder for me at least to get inventory. I think those are like the most tips that I have.
Awesome. That reminds me of a gentleman named Eddie Levine. Eddie Levine has 75 products and does 15 million a year with no employees. 75 products straight from the actual source. So I met him at Amazon ASD. which is a free event in Las Vegas. If you guys have time, maybe stop by and check it out. It's pretty interesting. I'll put that in the chat. Amazon ASD, affordable shopping. Actually, I'm sorry. It's not an Amazon event per se. It's called Affordable Shopping Destination, but it's a place that a lot of Amazon sellers go to source. There are 1 million SKUs available to purchase. They're all brand new, and a lot of them are direct to the manufacturer. And 99% of it is cheap junk you would throw away. It's not thriftable. It's literally disposable retail. All of it is stuff like, I think of it as like the same stuff you would find at a gas station as you're buying your gum on the side. That's like most of the stuff there. Anyway, Eddie said what he does is, how did he get this list of 75 people that he is the only person allowed to sell it? So all 75 products, he is the only person allowed to sell it on Amazon. He's the one sending letters to people saying, you can't sell this product. I'm the only one allowed to. Here's my contract. And Amazon will remove or suspend that person. What he does is he says, there is no one size fit all. What I do is, before the trade show opens, everyone posts their company on the list. Then you go one by one through all those people, figure out what booth they're going to be at, make an appointment, get a personalized bullet point list, show up and say, hey, what issues are you having in your company? What happens at the end of the sales cycle if you can't sell it? Here's my name. I am a really, really good Amazon seller, and I can rank your product better than if you can do it in-house. So he is right around 5% margin. Okay. But he's using other people's product. And so his pitch is, it's cheaper to use me than in-house. And that is arguably the strongest argument you could possibly make for a big brand. Why would they use you if they could just do it themselves? You have a really hot product. Do you really need someone? In this case, yes. Because Eddie would say, let me rank your product number 1 on Amazon. I know what I'm doing. And it's insane. So that's the best personalized thing. Let me work for you. I'm going to take way less money than if you hired someone to do it, but let's grow your brand. It's like a partnership. And he doesn't have any employees. It's insane. It goes directly from the manufacturer to Amazon. There's no touching the product at all. Insane. But William, thank you for that tip. You definitely want to personalize it. Hi, is this still available? Is literally the worst. That's the laziest way to try to get inventory. Let's go with the flippin' gals. Good morning. Can you guys chat?
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
We are, we actually post ads on OfferUp. So in fact, we have a pickup of this afternoon. I think the key is really to make your ad stand out and making sure that you're not sketchy or anything. So, we put an ad saying free pickup, if you're doing your spring cleaning or you're donating some bucks, we can come to you, just text this number. And
the OfferUp didn't allow that.
Oh, did not know that. I'm sorry?
I don't think you can post a want ad on OfferUp. Go ahead, Alex.
Every time I post an ad on OfferUp, they take it down and they're like, you can't post wanted ads on OfferUp, basically.
Oh, that's strange because the ad has been there for months and we've been getting messages. So
maybe you guys can leave a link and I'll post it in the guide for everyone later.
Yeah.
If you guys want I'll make a separate guide sheet for this call and we'll link it. But I don't think you're technically supposed to post a want ad, but go ahead. Oh, and a follow-up question. How do you not be sketchy?
Some people want to know what you use. What are you doing with the items? So you just have to be transparent, because I don't want to come across as like, oh, I'm going to make a lot of money from it. So, what we do is we actually say, we are resellers and we donate the ones that are no good to charity, to Goodwill. So they appreciate that.
Or libraries. Yeah. Most of the books that we pick up are going to end up being donations. So that is true. And very few we can pick out to sell. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Also, you guys should put your social media stuff so people can follow you, because I was looking at your live and they put more work into this Instagram live than I've ever put into anything in my life. So thank you for actually making good content. Okay, so I love that when you are transparent. People will give you more stuff, and some of the stuff is worth being tossed. So how do you guys approach that? If you go pick up a load of someone's stuff, do you sort immediately? How do you approach it?
So for example, there was this lady who passed away. She owned a little library, and they posted an ad. They're giving away all their books in the library. So we ended up picking up like 20 boxes of books. And we sort through them. You know, it's a typical, like, we use the app to scan and sort through them, and then the rest we would donate to libraries.
Yeah, or we even sold some at garage sales, and we had Amazon booksellers actually go through them and pick out books that we thought were like, we told, you know, the buyer that we're Amazon sellers as well, and he didn't care. He still went through them, and he paid us, you know, some nice money for them, so we took it.
Awesome. Do you guys post separately and pick up separately? How does the operation work with two people?
We post on, you know what, I don't know. We used to do it separately before quarantine, but now with quarantine, we're going together to pick things up. One person drives, the other person just gets down and grabs everything, puts it in the car. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. Let's go with Shani. You guys, if you guys don't have a tip, you can also just share something that you have a challenge with.
Well, I've shared with you guys before for mine, at a garage sale. I'll go to a garage sale, and if they're selling something that I like to sell, then I'll say, you know, when you're done at the end of the weekend, can I call you? I always get their number instead of having them call me, because sometimes they forget or they lose it. In fact, I take a picture of it. If they write it down, I take a picture and put it in my phone. And then I call them, and usually they're ready for me just to come pick it up. I don't usually have to pay for it, because they just want, and I tell them that I'm going to donate some. I just don't get into specifics. They don't care. They just want it out of their house. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how I do it. And that's why during this time I've had lots of inventory.
Fair enough. Let's go with Aaron. Aaron, can you chat? Aaron Marshall. I don't know if he can chat. Maybe not. We'll go with Mac. Mac, good morning.
How's it going, everybody? Thank you for having me. Can you hear me all right, Chris? Mm-hmm. All right. I would say my tip, my biggest wins are probably electronics recyclers and local surplus and liquidators. The electronics recycler source I have is not local, so I actually bought one item. I was doing an eBay to Amazon arbitrage flip, because one of the best tips you gave was find products that are already selling. And so you can kind of just go down the Amazon top sellers list and source those products on eBay. One of the guys I bought from, I saw on the shipping label is actually a company. So I reached out directly to the company. They're one of my top sources now. They do a lot of cameras, a lot of internet routers, everything that sells, same day sales. Local surplus liquidators, obviously I'm having to do this in front of all the shoes that I buy local. So typical products are shoes and electronics, and you can usually find those, and they sell really, really well. So the tip would be build up enough capital to actually make one of those bulk purchases from whatever source you find, and look locally for those wholesale and liquidation. Long term, my goal would be to source directly from a manufacturer, just to kind of get those the long-term actual replenishable sales that you don't have to list over and over again. So that's where I'm at right now. And then also get really, really good at eBay to Amazon arbitrage. That stuff sells really, really quick, although building up the capital, because you'll run out. You could run out of capital in a day if you are sourcing directly from eBay to flip to Amazon, and then the capital's on hold for the time it takes the product to get to you, then the time it takes the product to get to Amazon. And I'm a little bit concerned about Amazon's logistics processes right now. It took about double the time to get into the warehouse on my last shipment to Amazon that I sourced from eBay. So that has me a little concerned just for the time being, but long term, I think it's a pretty good strategy.
Yeah, what do you use for a tool?
I've been looking at LaCroix, although it's a little bit pricey for me at $100 a month. Although I talk to Ty a lot, and it's a pretty good tool. But the save searches feature, I haven't done premium yet. I might if the volume gets enough. But the save searches feature on Amazon and eBay, you can get pretty streamlined. I mean, if you especially the Amazon app is awesome. So if you go through the Amazon app and you just go to add a product, and it's not on the desktop version for some reason, or maybe I've overlooked it. But if you're on the app and you looked up and you look
On the phone?
yeah, if you're on the Amazon seller app and you look up add a product, you can go to what products to add, top sellers, and just kind of go to your category. My go-to is electronics. So you just go down the top selling electronics, and you can actually favorite it. And then you can go over to your eBay app, and the eBay version of favoriting is save searches. So for my hardcore products, I probably have 20 save searches. So in the morning, you can pretty much buy profit. That's how fast it sells on Amazon. Like as soon as if it's in the top 5,000 in sales rank, it'll sell immediately if it hits FBA. So if you find it on the Amazon seller app, you find margin by buying it lower on the eBay app. And so I'll just go through those save searches every morning. It takes about.
Did you decide to pay that $100 a month then?
I haven't. I've found enough use out of the save searches, although I probably haven't played with it enough to really feel the streamline effects of LaCroix. It's just something I haven't really taken the plunge on yet. But the save searches has made plenty of profit. I kind of call it buying profit in the morning. You can pretty much calculate your profit with every purchase, and you could buy $1,000 of profit in 2 hours. But you might, like I said, with the capital constraints, you might spend 5 to 10, but it doesn't matter; it'll sell immediately.
You'll spend $5,000 to make $1,000.
In some cases, I mean, if you're doing high-end electronics,
I think it's higher than that, Alex. Let me give you I consider Ty a good friend. Ty is awesome. He made the software LaCroix. Ty at one point was spending like $70,000 a day on Amazon to make between 5 and 10 grand a day. But I mean, like, people are like, oh, I would never do that. You would never make 5 to 10 grand a day. Like that's not enough for you, or you're too like I get it, but I get that it sounds scary, but it's actually not that scary. Also, the turnaround time is pretty decent. 5 weeks is not that long. People are willing to wait 5 months for something to sell on eBay. Like, so it takes time to go through the system. And again, the largest opportunity for reselling is definitely eBay to Amazon. What Mac was describing earlier, and what people always want is they want new replenishables from the manufacturer. That is called retail. So if you want to be a retailer and get stuff directly from the manufacturer, and not like what you really want is to be able to reorder it. If you reorder it, that means most likely they're not going to sell to you if you're in your garage. They want some skin in the game. They want you to have an expensive lease in the mall. That's the person that they're calling. When you call as that person, they pick up the phone immediately. And that's why the top replenishable tip is working with the brick and mortar. That's the biggest reseller online is Watch Me Amazon. And that guy, that's what he did. He partnered with a local shop, literally 50-50 on the online side, and just took over that department for them. And so you can't do that at home. No one will do that with you unless you are dating their niece or something. It doesn't work that way. You have to have
Do you think
legit
a
thing.
warehouse would be sufficient? Or do you think a brick and mortar is what you really need?
So it depends on how serious you want them to take you, right? So the biggest resume is actually your website. So if you have a warehouse and you have an awesome website and it's Shopify and you do your own marketing, it's the same as having a brick and mortar because you've got skin in the game. You built a beautiful website with traffic. But if it's just your garage sale style store on eBay, they're going to just delete your email. Because if you have good products, thousands of people are calling you to get the product. Why do you want to work with you on your kitchen, in your kitchen, versus some dude that, you know, has 17 stores, brick and mortar. Also, brick and mortar people pay more than resellers. They don't expect, I need to quadruple my money on a replenishable. Is that cool with you? And can I start with a $200 order? That's totally different than someone that's like, can I spend 400 grand to make 50 grand? It's so different. You know what I mean? The margins are so different. But anyway, back to the LaCroix thing. The save searches, buying money in the, or buying profit in the morning is a really good strategy. I have that during this call. I get an alarm that says, "Hey, Chris," what does it say? It says source $500 profit a day, but I actually like
radio show.
I like max buying profit better, because that's what it is. And if you want profit that's fast, you usually have to pay more. If you're willing to wait, then of course there's no way. Like Alex, you would never pay 10 grand to make 1 grand in 5 months.
Yeah,
It's too slow. Yeah.
And Chris, I wanted to ask you, if so, if you do eBay to Amazon, are you fulfilling FBA to eBay to FBA?
Yeah,
or
eBay to FBA. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay,
Because
so
you
try to buy a lot of it, and then you just try to ship it to Amazon directly, or do you buy it first then ship it?
You buy it. Well, it depends. You should do it yourself, because your account is so fragile, especially in the beginning. You can't have if somebody makes a mistake, it's still your fault if you send it to a prep center for them to do it for you. So I would recommend in the beginning, as you're learning it, have it shipped to your house. Get one of those Instagram pictures of you with 150 orders from Target in front of your doorstep, and be like, I just made $700. But then you gotta send it in, because it's gonna sell for a lot more. Merchant fulfilled is okay, right? Like right now, because there's no, like, Amazon is delayed, but you're not gonna get as much money as that Prime sticker. Eventually, you can get to the point where you fulfill yourself, but you still have Prime. That's the ultimate.
Chris, right now, Merchant Fulfilled is winning all the buy boxes.
See? So
they're
you
not
can
giving,
even
they're
get
not giving FBA the buy box, and they haven't been for a couple of weeks.
Awesome. See, so now you can compete. But anyways, seller fulfilled Prime is always the best, and that's, you know, you have to have a good relationship with Amazon before they let you do that.
Chris, also you said something pretty profound that I just noted down. It's really easy to get past the mental process of, I'll buy something at a garage sale, and if it sells for 10x 3 weeks later, oh, that's enough, or that's a good buy. But for me, getting into Amazon to eBay, I was going through over the mental hurdle of, I got to wait for it to come to me, then I have to wait for it to go to Amazon, and that's not good enough. But once you get over that mental hurdle, you realize that sells immediately, and it's the same as if you bought something at a garage sale, and it's infinitely more scalable, or to a degree. So I appreciate you adding that.
Yeah. Also, it's a little bit more boring, guys. So you got to think about some other stuff to do. If you're looking for the thrill of the hunt, the replenishable thing is not the thrill of the hunt. It's more like being an accountant. But
I don't
the
know.
thing is,
I got kind of thrilled a little bit.
How?
When you find a good deal online, it's pretty dope.
Okay, I guess that's true. Somebody just sent me, they bought 500 sprinkler systems and they doubled their money, and they probably don't have a passion for sprinkler systems, right? But that's a good system. I mean, a good thing that happened to them. Let's go with Scott. Scott, good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
How's it going?
It's going really well. I think the biggest thing is asking good leading questions when you're talking to people. So, do you have more? Do you know anybody else with the same problem? I got really lucky with my first brick and mortar store on Poshmark. He was actually listing stuff that he would normally put on clearance in his store. He doesn't ever want to have a clearance rack because it gives the wrong impression for the type of business he has. So he was paying 2 junior employees. I think he said they were both like 16 and 17, and they were doing a half decent job at selling it on Poshmark for him. Now, all this stuff he was trying to liquidate for around his cost, but he would take a loss after paying employees to do everything. And plus the fact that he then has to pick it, ship it, and then also still taking up inventory space in a warehouse. So I bought enough from him. I built a relationship. He sends me 90% of the stuff that he would normally clearance. The other 10% is stuff that's too high end for eBay and Poshmark to where I don't want to have hundreds of dollars sitting in something that's going to sell in 6 to 12 months for $800. It's just not worth it. But that all just came from just asking questions.
That's awesome. For this guy, the pain point is the clearance section because his space is probably expensive, especially if he's selling high-end stuff. You need a good location and a good store.
Yeah, and if you have a clearance action, that reduces the value of the rest of your stuff.
Yep. So it makes sense. Right now, I am scripting some emails for golf courses because I love golf course stuff. It's expensive. Men have less returns, especially for like a polo. It's really not going to get returned. And the classic sites, like if you guys have heard of like 6 p.m. Or there's a lot of clearance sites, and their rate is 5 to 10% of MSRP. That's what they pay golf courses to buy their entire inventory. But they're also required to buy it all. And I got that call from Scott when we had a conversation. You assume you're buying all of the stuff they don't want. That's how it works. You need to provide that service of helping them get rid of stuff they don't want.
I just got a return yesterday on a purse from a woman, and she said, "This is not the medium size I was looking for." And I messaged her. I was like, "What do you think I could have done to help describe the product better?" And she just said, "I just want a refund, please."
Wow, that's very mature of you to send that message. Let's go with Don. Don, good morning. What are you working on? Wait, I lost your audio. No audio, Don. We'll come back to you. Let's go with Matt. Matt, can you chat?
Hey, morning. What's up?
You don't have to share, but how was the bulk buy, if you want to share?
Oh, it was pretty good. A lot of driving yesterday. I forgot how much driving sucked because I haven't had to drive anywhere in the past 2 months. But yeah, other than that, it was pretty cool. I like that Griffin fella. He seems nice. We talked for a couple hours, and he's got a lot more I can get. So,
do you mind sharing what it looks like? I connected Matt with a wholesale vintage dealer in North Carolina, and my sourcer is going there today. She's probably going to find a lot of stuff.
Hey, awesome! You're gonna, I guess, Haban.
Right.
Cool.
But what is the? Is it just, what does it look like? He seems like he has a lot of stuff. His store is pretty big.
Well, I didn't meet him at his place.
Oh.
I met him at a neutral location or whatever.
I see.
But the stuff he gave me was just a bunch of modern Levi's, pretty much. There was some Buckle, some Carhartt, but it was mostly like $25 to $30 jeans, men's.
Okay.
Stuff he didn't want to list. He's more interested in the vintage stuff.
So this is great too, and because if somebody has a vintage store, they're going to get other stuff that they don't want. You could be their connect to get rid of that kind of stuff, and that's again just problem solving.
Go
ahead.
Well, I was going to say this could work out great if the price is good to where the merchandise is the sell through and everything. Yeah, as long as the quality stays up and the price is matching, It could be a great connection because he's got like another 1,000 pounds of jeans. So I imagine he's only going to get more.
Yeah. A couple thoughts on that. One, as this group matures, I'm going to get more wholesalers reaching out to me so I can just like let you guys know, hey, this guy's got a bunch of stuff, go check it out. And then we can just sort of self-police in this group and try to be those connections for people. Also, selling to resellers is nice because the average order price is a lot higher. So I did that online estate sale a couple of weeks ago, and the realtor was like, I'm going to just use you instead of an estate sale because I can get paid that day. And the estate sale is 4 or 5 days. They have to go through and do that. He's like, just you and your friends show up and buy all of it and pay cash. because they want it all out and cleaned up. And especially in expensive areas, they want to get that thing on the market as soon as possible so they can flip that property. So a group of resellers has some power. So let's go with Linda. Linda, can you chat? Hopefully she can chat. Oh, Melinda, rather.
Hi there. Can you hear me?
Yep. Good morning.
Good morning. So I'm brand new at this, so I'm just here to learn. We're starting it as a business, and so I've just been kind of prepping, but getting ready Monday to get out there. So I want to get everything I can.
Sounds great. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Who is on a Pixel 2?
Is it me?
Yep. Good morning.
Yeah. Hi, Chris. This is Lana. Sorry, I didn't realize I didn't put my name there. Yeah, I'm kind of like the Melinda.
Mm-hmm.
I'm new. Well, I've been selling on eBay for about 2 years, but I've been mostly sourcing from local thrift stores. And so I just recently started buying liquidation, wholesale liquidation cases. So I bought 3 so far. So I'm still in the beginning of it. So I'm just trying to figure out which company I'm buying from. Different companies. So far, I bought from Bulk, I bought from Quick Lots, and my third one is from Wholesale Ninjas. So I'm just trying to figure out different companies, how they work, what type of merchandise they're sending me, what's selling better, things like that. So yeah, I'm just learning here too. So thank you.
All right, sounds good. Let's go with Patty. Patty, good morning. Go ahead. Sorry.
Keep muting me.
No, I was trying to unmute you, but go ahead.
Oh, good. Yesterday was a day off. I was trying to enjoy the nice weather.
Mm-hmm.
So, back to, I got my wholesale order in, which is good. So I'm waiting for Amazon to ungate me and then hopefully send all this stuff in.
So you found a really cool product and then reverse engineered where it came from. Do you want to share that with the group? Not the product, but how you did it.
Yeah, the easiest thing I found is you literally just look at the label on the bottle. I mean, that's honestly it. And then Google the name, like, I don't know, this shampoo. Never used it, never even heard about it. It was on eBay's like top seller.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the bottom it says distributed by Vogue International. So I looked up the website and there's no website. So I went on LinkedIn and typed in Vogue International to see who works there, and then got their head of their online product distributor and emailed her. That's pretty much it.
That's actually very profound, even though you think it's like kind of nonchalant, because most people don't do that. But I want to share that when I was researching Sarah Blakely, the way that she figured out all the different other products that Spanx sells is what you just said. She would go look at what's selling really well, Neiman Marcus or whatever, figure out where it came from, and then write down that whole process. So for you, it would be go to the eBay top seller list, or in Mac's case, go to the Amazon seller app on your phone, look at the top sellers. You could buy one from the top 5 sellers, get it, right? If you're one of those people, you could return them after, but don't be those people. Just get it and then look through it and then find out where it came from. Mac?
Sorry, Patty, did you have any trouble finding profit margin when looking at the products to sell, or was it a race to the bottom? And then what was the negotiation process like with the distributor? Did you have to prove that you were of a certain level of status, or did you just say, hey, I'm selling on Amazon?
So when I email them, I have a website. I just went on GoDaddy because I found GoDaddy to be the easiest for me. And it automatically uploads my Amazon and my eBay store to it. So that's my website. And with GoDaddy, you get an email for your store name too, which gives you more legitimacy. So it's not just like your name at Gmail or, and you also get a business phone number, which just goes directly to your cell phone. So between just having the website, and mind you, like I'm actually working on my website now. It is nothing spectacular at all. I don't actually want any traffic to my website, because then I would have to figure out shipping and everything else. It's literally just there so I can get wholesale accounts. In regards to the profit margin, this stuff was just ordered so I can get ungated in topicals and lotions and personal care products. I pretty much just ordered stuff that I knew that I could sell on eBay. I was doing really well for a while, and then somebody else came and then dumped like 6 pallets on the same product that I had.
I feel like I contributed to that.
Why?
I don't know, maybe I mentioned what product you were selling and then it went away. That's why I don't want people to share their products. I don't know if it was me, but somebody tanked her pricing.
Yeah, huge tanked it. Yeah, I went from making like $13 on each one to like $1.
Sorry.
I mean, I'm okay with $1, but
don't share your product with me. I might accidentally leak it, and then the profit will go away.
But
I'm just kidding. But yeah, that can happen.
Yeah, that can happen. But I mean, I also just I look at what I use on a daily basis and what people I know use, and that's the stuff that I'm going after is for replenishables. And then I would also say the one thing that I noticed when I went to these websites to order from wholesale, I wish I knew more about it, but man, if you know anything about African American hair coloring or shampoos or treatments or whatever, there is a huge market out there where you could buy stuff bottom dollar and be able to resell it.
There's a new Netflix show on that. The first Black millionaire lady.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, those products are insanely valuable if you know what you're doing, and you have to be in the culture. It's like
absolutely.
Yeah,
I wish I knew a fraction, because I actually called up a friend of mine and I was like, if your kids are out of work, here's the website. Tell them to go to town and start buying it and sign up to sell on Amazon and Walmart and every place else. I'm like, you'll make a mint.
Enrico is saying you could benefit from doing multi-packs. That's true. And I went to Costco trying to figure out if I could do this, and what worked immediately was coconut water. You can come up with a listing on Amazon that only you have in a certain quantity, and some people will buy it by the pallet. I mean, just depends on who you're talking with. But I've seen you can make a pack of 3, a pack of 9, whatever fits in a padded or whatever you can figure out. Multi-packs is really smart. Jeffrey is saying go with MAP pricing. That's like a manufacturer suggested price. Another, like the guy buy boxer Scott, he's the guy that is running like the 10-figure Amazon business. He violates MAP at the very end of the relationship, which is kind of like crazy that he admits that publicly. But he's like, as I get towards the end of the supply, I violate MAP pricing and sell all of it. So that does exist in that category also. Because go ahead.
I was gonna say, I mean, I've gotten flat out denied. Like, I got hand sanitizer, the Dr. Bronner's, and I tried going directly to Dr. Bronner's, and they won't sell to you if you sell on Amazon and eBay. But that doesn't stop their other distributors from reselling it to me so I can sell it.
That is also true. You can look for the distributor of that product if the manufacturer denies you. That's a good point.
I mean, I try going directly to the manufacturer. If that doesn't work, then I go to their distributor and then just buy from their distributor.
Okay. Let's go.
So I have a bunch of hats. So I got to look at the brand is like Daytone or something. So I'm going to try to call them soon, get some more.
I wish I had bought a whole bunch of cheap alcohol and made my own hand sanitizer, because I feel like people would definitely support local right now. Let's go with Amy. Amy, good morning.
Hi, I am. This is my first time being on one of your calls, but I'm somewhat newer. I sell clothing on Poshmark and eBay and a little bit on Mercari. So mostly I've had a difficult time finding inventory because I mostly shop local. I did reach out to one of the people that you recommended on Instagram that had from New York that had a bulk order.
Did that work out?
I don't know. I haven't gotten it yet. I think it's supposed to come today.
Okay.
So he did mention that he has more stuff if I'm interested. So we'll see how this goes. I also have a local consignment shop that consigns really high-end items that I think they also have an eBay store, but I'm not sure. So after kind of listening to some of you, I think I might try and reach out to them and see what they do as far as things in their store that they can't sell. I know they sell lower end items too. So that's another point of contact.
I connected you with the gentleman. His eBay store is Lux Swap on, and he buys credentialized clothing. So he said of the 8,000 pounds that he bought, only 200 pounds met his ASP goal, which is like $100. So he had to sell 7,800 pounds of clothing. That's not $100 ASP. But for a lot of sellers, that's fine. But it depends on how much time you have. That's why I want everyone to determine how much. It's only he and his wife that run the business. I think they can only list 100 or 200 items a week. And he bought like 15,000 items. So like it has to be sold wholesale. And the idea for him is, can he buy this credentialized clothing, take out the top 1% and sell the rest to buy another 3 garages full of stuff to start over again? Sure. And allegedly, credentialized clothing is unsorted donations. That's what they say it is. But I just find it really hard to believe that they don't look through it. But I guess it makes sense. If you have a lot of ways to get it, then you wouldn't have time to look through it.
Yeah.
Let's go with Alex Ross. Alex, how did you come upon that lot that you bought of those swimming suits?
Okay, so there's this guy that my wife works with, and his father was a huge eBay seller, and his father passed away, and so his son is just left with like 10,000 swimsuits. And so he was looking to wholesale them, and he heard from my wife that I sold on eBay. And so I got together with my friend that I just met, and I was telling him about it and wanted to get his advice because he owns like a little chocolate store locally. And I asked him about it, and he was saying that he wanted to be an investor. And so we went in together on them and paid $9,000 for the 10,000 swimsuits. So I don't think I could ever do that again. But
I guess you just have to let people know what you do.
Yeah, I guess so.
And then that's the only way to get that kind of hookup.
Right.
What do you...
Have they been selling?
Yeah, they sell pretty well. Like Chris was saying, I think that it's really going to pick up once all of the beaches open back up.
Is it the design that makes them sell well, or is it the brand that makes them sell
well? There's a lot of different brands, and there are definitely brands that sell better than others. The one that we have the most quantity of is called Swim 365, but the brands that sell quicker and for a little bit more money are like the Jessica London and the Delta Burke swimsuits.
Sounds good. Any other thoughts on sourcing or challenges?
Well, no, not really.
Sounds good. Let's go with Diana. Diana, good morning.
Good morning. Hi, this is my first time joining one of your calls.
Thanks for coming.
I only sell on Poshmark.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just curious to see like what you guys would talk about. I've been wanting to get into eBay and sell other things besides clothing, but I live in a 300 square foot room, so I'm very limited on my space. But I'm trying to see if maybe I can get one of my family members on board. but I'm trying to do this independently. So I'm just trying to kind of take baby steps. So I'm just really kind of here to listen to what you guys are talking about.
Sounds good. I like Jeffrey's advice, which is you want to be risky maybe with your profit. So this is something also that like Mac had mentioned earlier about like sometimes it can be high risk. You're spending a lot to make a little. Let's say, for example, you're starting slowly. You sell maybe, let's say you sell $500 worth of stuff over the first couple months, and 200 of it is profit. Maybe you would spend the $200 profit. That's that you would made reselling on something that you would only make $30 profit on. But typically on the more expensive stuff, it moves faster. So it sounds slower, but what's really slow is a 500 item closet of $1 stuff that never sells. That's actually slow. It doesn't feel slow because you only spent 500 for 500 items. But the fact that you're not getting your money back is the hiccup. You'll see a lot of stale Poshmark closets or eBay stores. Stuff is like 5 months old, 8 months old, a year old, hasn't moved. And it takes a lot of mental capacity to go back, revise it, new pictures, whatever, to make it move. So I would recommend with your situation, if you can, try to get an ASP of $40 to $60 in clothing. Then you won't have too much because there's hardly any of it. So you'll have a small, tight, good quality stuff. And that stuff sells fast anyway. So fast and expensive is what you want.
So you do recommend, because I I follow you and like another Poshmark seller on Instagram, and she always recommends like quality over quantity.
Yeah, everyone's gonna recommend. That's the best. That's great advice.
And because I started my Poshmark journey, which kind of got me into like all this reselling thing, because just one thing leads to another. And I started off Poshmark sourcing in June of 2018. So I think I started getting a little bit more productive last year. So I donated a lot of my stale items because I used to just go sourcing on dollar days at Goodwill. That's when I didn't know anything. But I'm learning. And I've been having a hard time during quarantine sourcing, obviously, as everybody else. I've just been relisting, which that actually has helped. I've just been relisting items, but sourcing has been a problem for me. I actually literally just hit up some people that I follow on Instagram. I guess I kind of spammed them, but I haven't heard a response back. But, desperate times call for desperate measures.
So you would get more response not spamming and individually writing one email at a time, because that's how because I delete all of those. Hey, if there's any stuff that you don't want to sell, let me know. Like, that's too lazy. But yeah, I got you.
No, actually, I did cater. I made like a video because on my Instagram profile, I don't show my face. So I DM'd them and I made like a video, like a 1-minute video. I just hit up 6 people. And it was personalized, but I don't know them personally, but I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take a chance. I live an hour away from them. What can I lose? I'll probably send you the video to ask your opinion if it was
send it over.
too spammy or not. But that's where I'm at right now. I'm just kind of trying to learn to see what else I can sell. So that's why I'm here.
The Flipping Gals have a recommendation that warehouse sales for retailers are happening. This is definitely true. Like my wife works for one of the big retailers, and they furloughed 250,000 employees. So all those stores have inventory that's essentially out of style at this point because it's fast fashion, right? So they're going to liquidate that stuff. I wanted to share a really quick story before I forget, which is from this restaurant, Alinea. It was ranked one of the best restaurants in the world. It's like $375 a person. So it's an expensive restaurant, and the owner was thinking about like in February that he might actually they might shut down. There was like some talks about shutdown in the beginning of February. So what this guy did was he transitioned his really super high-end restaurant into serving comfort food. And I just find it really inspiring that he has 80 employees, and during the lockout, he's having record days, like more like his business transition because of this one thing, which is what the flipping gals reminded me of. Right now, all these food suppliers, their food's going bad. They're getting food for free. And there's, like that's subsidizing the cost of their employees. So he said, okay, times are tough. Everyone makes $15 an hour, even if you're the head chef, who was making $75 an hour. Everyone makes $15 an hour. Our goal is to make sure we can get our 80 employees back first. Then we'll talk about whatever. Everyone, let's just figure this out. And when they started calling wine distributors, perishable distributors, they were saying, can you just take all this food because it's going to go bad? We'll work something out. And I thought it was really, really cool. The fact that all these suppliers some of their stuff is time sensitive. This would be an interesting time to sell grocery, because here, even though the grocery stores have long lines, there's record donations, because I think they're not quite as busy. I mean, I don't know if you guys are like here, but the grocery stores are only half stocked. Like there's more room for people to walk around, and I don't know if they're selling through the stuff. Seems like overall less people at the grocery store and the carts are smaller. I don't know, other than bulk. Let's go with Daniel. Daniel, good morning.
Good morning. I guess my top tip to share is definitely letting people know what you do. I share what I do on my Instagram. So either, that I'm an eBay seller, what I'm buying. People love watching what I'm buying, and several people have reached out to me. So I'm dealing with 3 friends right now. One has a bunch of camera stuff because he got out of photography. So I'm going to just take a percentage of that and list it for him. I have another girl that has like Gucci and like some perfume high-end stuff. So I'm going to be selling that for her. And
so your Instagram allows you to get inventory?
Yeah. Like, on my personal Instagram, I have like a business one, but my personal one, I post more on, and it's just like free. So, and another one of my friends has a hair straightening line. So he bought all this bulk stuff at at shows, and so I listed a bunch of those for him. Which he only wanted to sell them for 80, but the lowest one on eBay was like 120, so I just undercut them a little bit, but I haven't gotten any sales yet. And there's an estate sale company around me that does liquidations and also cleans out. She does a pretty consistent IG virtual sale, so I've been getting really good deals on them. Sometimes I make over $1,000 on them. And so she knows I buy like a lot of electronics, so at the end when I'm picking up, she just like gives me free stuff, because she's going to throw it out anyway. And another tip that came from Chris, I guess it was partially Chris's, I've made business cards that say I pay cash for your old stuff. So I just carry those around with me in case I meet somebody at an estate sale, or, just sharing what I do and what I buy. I had bought from some of my neighbors, just meeting my neighbors, and built relationships that way that were moving, and I bought a ton of their old stuff that they were going to throw out, because they don't think like old games or t-shirts have value or anything like that. Old electronics, cassettes, all my cassette players sell really well. And Alex P's tip of posting, another local tip, I use the Nextdoor app, which is really like where you communicate with your neighbors, and I posted an ad saying I buy electronics. So I got a really good connection from that, from actually an audio and video custom integrator installer for homes.
Great tips. Yeah, that online Instagram estate sale company is very interesting. I definitely
I wish more people did that, because she does partially auctions too for the stuff that she thinks she has value, but you know, you really have to pay up for that stuff. But I really wish that you know, because there's like max 20 people there, and she goes through it so fast. Because in her mind, she's just, it's like getting the home cleaned out. It's not just she's running an estate sale. So I've gotten incredible deals there.
Sounds great. Let's go with Enrica. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You know, Chris, thank you so much for adding me. This has been incredible. It's been really insightful. So
thank you for stopping.
Thanks for having me. So I'm fairly new with, I sell on, this is my side hustle. I've been doing FBA for about a year and a half. I've been selling on Amazon since, not Amazon, but eBay since they started, but again, sort of random stuff I have around the house. I also sell on Mercari and Poshmark. I haven't figured it out. I do have stuff on Poshmark, but my main side hustle is probably FBA. And I think a big thing for me is replenishables. I do have an awesome tip. And that is, I have a very dear, two things, kind of same sort of tip. So I have a local friend. I live here in the Bay Area. I have a friend that is an estate. He's kind of a famous auctioneer, mid-century modern guy, and he's my old neighbor. We became really fast friends, and he and another mutual friend, he does estate sales. And so he's like, girls, come, we get first pick of everything. And we help him. So we get paid, and then we get like prime pickings. So the things that I'm really into are vintage clothes. So I get the stuff for free. I get leftovers and I get first pick. Another thing too is that my best friend, this is an awesome tip for anyone, hook up with your local professional organizer. My best friend is a professional organizer. You know, in the Bay Area, San Francisco, Marin County, I get so much I get vintage, but I also get incredible designer clothes, and it's usually free. And or, you know, I'll give you an example. So somebody had, well, actually, they were hoarders. This one, actually, my friend has dealt with several hoarders, and when they're hoarding, the people, her clientele, they're hoarding designer. And so one woman had, I don't know, probably $50,000 worth of designer bags. And I might even be like, it was probably even worth more than that, but they just wanted to get rid of it. And so I didn't get that gig, but my friend got it, and she took a very large percentage of the handbags that they sold. But oftentimes the stuff that I'm getting is free. The families just, they want to get rid of it. They're clearing out their closets. And so it's amazing if you can connect with professional organizers. It's an incredible source. I don't know if that's helpful.
That's very helpful. I mean, especially right now with decluttering and Marie Kondo being so popular, you know, people are getting rid of everything. Like, they don't even care. They want the space back.
They do.
So, especially if they're older. Yep.
Right. And it's, I mean, you know, you seem to be like really resourceful in terms of like developing your relationships with people. Professional organizers, they do have their own connections, and they also need help. They're doing so much, you know, depending on like what their niche is. They really just want to get rid of it really quickly. They don't want to have to deal with it. So, I mean, if you could make their problem go away, you know, and in some cases, some people want to have the write-off, but I've known my friend for a long time. I'm amazed at the different dynamics that come up when I'm getting a truckload of stuff.
I mean, that's like the name of the game. I would say when I first started this 3 years ago, I did not know anything about it. I didn't even know you could sell used goods on eBay
Yeah.
when I first started. So you just start, and then at a certain point, your relationships I don't even have time. There's so many different things coming in that I can't even look through them, right? So I'm just going to summarize the advice that I've had so far. That this should make it easier. You build your business with replenishables that sell right away. So that's how you can scale. If you guys are looking to scale your business to whatever amount of money you want to make, but in the beginning, I recommend building your margin. Building your business with like high margin things that take a little bit longer. So when you're just starting, it's okay to go find something at the thrift store for $1. Just make sure that it sells for 40, so that you get some profit to put into the replenishable deals when they pop up. And Mac had mentioned that at the beginning of the call also. Eventually, there's going to be a deal that's $10,000 that they're not going to wait. They want the money right now. That's how you get the deal. So, and Enrique, your advice of being friends with people, it's a perfect example of what happens at the end of the cycle. If you don't pick it up, sometimes it gets landfilled, or it's a lot of work for that person. Even that online estate sale that I just did, it was really sad. They threw away probably $5,000 worth of products that were $1 to $5 that would have sold in an estate sale for sure. But they don't have time. The stuff is moving. So being friends with people, letting people know what you do, very powerful. Thank you. Let's go with Jeffrey Feldman.
Hello, good morning.
What's up? Do you have a sourcing tip?
Well, I use virtual assistants who are smarter than I am. So virtual assistants are like the magic. They have the expertise because they've done it before, and they know how to take the time to go through and really like hunt for those kind of items. And if you have somebody from the Philippines who works for a few dollars an hour, like $2 an hour, it's worth the time to have somebody go and like really do some online sourcing. And then we're also using tools like tactical arbitrage and Zen Zenith, Zen arbitrage for books. And so a lot of times they just go also, they subscribe to like every like sales circular, and they go through that, and they crunch the numbers. They see what it's selling on Amazon and compare sales ranks and all kinds of different online tools. And then also human resources is a good way.
Okay. Quick break for an advertisement. I do this call every single day, 365 days a year, different topics, different ideas. If you guys want to join, it's $110 a year. So it's like ridiculously cheap. I would recommend coming like at least once a week to share what you're working on for accountability. But this call is at the same time every day at the same room. So feel free to stop by. I usually recommend people try it for a month and see if you think it's worth it. If you really should be able to get $100 worth of value the first call, actually. Just meet people, see what they're up to, share what you're working on, develop a great network, meet other people, go in on group deals together, and let's make this work. Also, all of these notes, I'll also, if you guys want, just message me again and I'll send you a summary. You can also download the notes by clicking the 3 dots. I don't know if you guys have that option. I think you do. You can save the chat for the different conversations that people have. Also, the people in the group have a directory, so you can reach out to the other people. Most of the people doing like 500K or more are never in the call. They just email me sometimes. But the people who are building up to that level always find value. I find tons of value. You will not even be able to execute a third of the ideas in this call. It's just sort of like an idea generator. Write all the stuff down and then execute on 1 to 3 things. April, good morning. Welcome to the world of full time. What are you working on?
Good morning. Good morning. I have a good little story to tell you.
Okay.
So I had to go to Grandma's yesterday. I'm going to tell you this specifically. So at 11 a.m., it's coming home from my godmother's, and I live directly, like really around the corner. There's a big Salvation Army, and then what I call an upscale boutique resale, and then a charitable resale right next door. They're all awesome. So the one charitable one, Chris, is the one I spoke about earlier. I called them to say, hey, if you have any leftover inventory, but I never heard back, no big deal. But I noticed a car was there. So Shani, I stopped them. The door was open in the back of the shop. I was yelling in the back. No one heard me. So I drove around the front and I could see some people in the storefront. And one was just a kid. I'm like, hi, is Mary here? He's like, yeah. So Mary came up to a little bit up to the glass. They couldn't really come up front. I'm like, can you hear me? It's like, yeah. Like, I'm bored. I don't have a job anymore. Please let me come help you. She's like, I would love that, but I can't until the stay-at-home is lifted. I'm like, can you call me? So we exchanged numbers, and I was very excited. I was very excited to share it because of just, again, I've been feeling unfocused and stuff, and I think helping someone is going to get my mind better. And then I feel with this too, that will be, like, I already know a lot of resellers go in there. A couple times I heard some, and I don't know what they do. Do they have a eBay store? How can I help them? And a little bit selfishly, how can I make money at the same time? So for those of you who live around my area in Michigan, know at 4 o'clock, the governor then extended our stay at home until the 28th. So I know 3 more weeks until I get to try that little adventure. So I'm just going to try all the awesome things I've learned so far.
Awesome. Thank you for
I'm
sharing.
so excited about it.
Let's go with Liz. Liz, good morning. Guys, I always try to keep this call an hour too, so sorry we're going over, but there's a lot of people today. Liz?
Good morning. Good morning. What other people have already mentioned, the consignment has been working for me, and working on with some higher end clients, and just navigating, doing what I do, and having an established site has helped attract some people, and offering consulting if they want to get into the business, just helping them. I work with Dress for Success here in Vegas, and helping them navigate online sales if that's something that they want to take on, because they have a lot of clothes, a lot of stuff. So, and I do that in exchange for clothing for myself, and to be able to sell it, because they're like, how much do you charge? I'm like, clothes. And they're like, oh, okay, good. So just and reaching out to friends that I know need help getting rid of things. So that's been working for me.
Thank you for sharing. Let's see. Andrew, can you chat? He might be on the road. So I realized this was lacking in scripts, so we'll probably do another one of these where we just go over what to write in an email, so you can get people to respond that way, because especially right now, people might not physically be there, so emailing is going to be a good way to reach people. So I'll do more examples of what people use the email. This is one from Mark in the group. Let's go with Karen. Karen, good morning. Hopefully you can chat on your sourcing journey as you start this endeavor.
Good morning. I'm a one-trick pony. That's find a store that's closing, going out of business, going on the last day or in the last days, and clean them out. That's it.
You can do that forever, by the way. Like Resale Rabbit did a good job, does this all the time. He's a good person to follow. He'll go on the last day of whatever Shopko, whatever store is closing, and buy everything. Cool. That's a good one trick to have, by the way. Inventory is very cheap. Let's go with Rich. Rich, good morning.
Hey, Chris. Hi, everyone. I think my biggest tip, because I buy most of the stuff that I've bought in the past has been off of liquidation sites, some auctions, some there are just lots there. I think my biggest tip is patience. Some of the lots that I've bought, there's 1 or 2 items that will pay when I sell them for the entire lot, and I think that's one thing that I've tried to keep in mind when I do buy stuff. It doesn't happen all the time, obviously, but it does happen sometimes. So that's really the only advice that I can give is just be patient. Right now, I really don't need anything, but I'll put in bids really, really low on stuff, thinking that, maybe I'll get some. You just never know. So maybe someone will just forget it,
I always love making an offer that is so low and they immediately accept, and you still feel like you left money on the table.
Yeah, it's that doesn't hasn't happened very often, but it does happen sometimes. And I picked up some lots the other day where it worked out with shipping for $1.30 a T-shirt, and I'm sure I can get at least 10 or 15 out of each and every one. Some quite a bit more, but and that was just a patience deal. I was getting kind of frustrated at the moment because weeks had gone by before I had gotten anything, and then boom, just like that, something popped up. So that's about all I got today. Thank you.
We had a 2002 MR2 come in when I was working for Lexus, and the guy, it was worth 18 grand. We looked it up together. My boss said, offer him 14 grand for it because we could sell for 18 and make our profit. I offered 7 grand for it, and he said, okay, like doesn't care. So it just depends on how you present the ID. And then I feel like that's still more, like he would have accepted 5 grand for it. He just didn't want it anymore. So it's interesting looking at the different, when you make an offer, it's, I don't like the advice that if you don't make them mad, then you offer too high. But it does work sometimes. If you can make people kind of, off their game emotionally, like I'll give you 40 for it, then it'll happen. That happened with Prince. We went to a garage sale together, and the guy's like, I was selling an iPod. And the guy said, these are selling on eBay for $50. He opened with that. And Prince was like, how about 5? Literally didn't shake him at all. And then the guy was like, no. And then as we were leaving, the wife was like, $5 is the deal. So, it can happen. Let's go with Brock. Brock, good morning. I got you.
Hi.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Thank you so much for making this available. I'm really excited about being here. I am new to the process. I've started doing some sourcing right before the stores closed. I've purchased a postal scale, got my supplies. I'm also looking at some bulk inventory sites and liquidation sites. So that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. My idea was to start with some small items, not so much for profit, but to give me experience in selling and knowing how to do the process. So that's where I am right now. I've gotten some very good tips so far, so thank you.
Thank you for coming. Yeah, that's always great too. Don't be afraid of just breaking even on items when you're just starting, just to get the momentum going. And you'll look at big stores will do that anyway, especially to pad feedback. If you guys are selling on Amazon, really hard to get ratings. It's not uncommon for people to sell items at a slight loss just to move volume and get positive feedback, because it's just hard to keep that metric high and easy to get suspended on Amazon. So be careful. Everyone open an Amazon account, even if you don't have one, just so you can have an older account. Sell something. Try to sell at least one item a month so that they know you have a pulse. And then that account it'll help you. You can be like, I've been selling on Amazon for years. Later when you're in the road, that they're not going to double check that you sold one textbook. Jackie?
Hi, good morning. I've been selling on eBay since December, and with everything that's happening now, and I'm one of those people that I can't go out because of my asthma, so I've sort of just been locked into the house. And I was coming today to get some ideas on other opportunities other than me going out to thrift stores and that sort of thing, which I can't do right now.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Let's go. Enrique, you have a tip on how to get ungated? Or you go ahead.
Oh, sorry about that. So I said I was doing Amazon. It's been about 1.5 years. This is crazy. And it did. Somebody asked about ungated it in topicals, the woman that did the shampoo.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 99-cent stores all over the Bay Area. And this was a fluke. But the 99-cent store is insane in terms of like finding stuff that gets discontinued. And I happened to find this product Spanger's, the candy company, had gone out of business or bankrupt or something. And I signed up for my account like December of 2018. Knew that Spanger's was going out of business, and it was just before Valentine's Day. Well, those Necco wafers, you know, I don't know if anybody knows about the Necco wafers. That they weren't, and they sell hot on Amazon. You can't find them anymore, but I knew those hearts for Valentine's Day. Long story short, I knew they had them at the 99-cent store. I called everybody I knew in California to go to the 99-cent store and clear the shelves. I ended up buying, I don't know, some insane amount of those, they're not Neckos, but those hearts, those god-awful hearts that break your teeth for Valentine's Day. I literally probably had $6,000 in sales, and my account was only, at that point, it was like a month and a half or 2 months old, because I had like posted everything in January. Well, anyway, those sales, because I was only selling candy, and because nobody could find these, they were flying off the shelves. You can source products at the 99-cent store, but I think my point is that I became ungated in everything. I'm still gated in big brands, but I literally got ungated in everything.
That's a good
like
tip. The
4 months.
the
It was
dollar
insane.
store is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not always, you know, it's a good place to source. That's all I'm gonna say. Not
So
every.
you get an invoice from the dollar store saying that you can sell their product.
Pardon me?
It's the category, Alex. So let's say like you, because if you sell certain items in a category, you can ungate that. Certain products too, like for example, there are some Nike shoes I'm ungated in, right? It doesn't mean that I'm ungated for the whole brand though. Depends on what it is. But the thing is, at Dollar Tree, you're going to run in the items that ungate you automatically for different categories. I think that's what.
So you wouldn't have to give them an invoice from the distributor or manufacturer?
Not always, no.
No, but so here's the thing: if you're starting Amazon, the way that I started was grocery is ungated. My jam is gourmet groceries, and so I started in grocery, and candy was like, I was already ungated right when I started. So because I sold something, I sold so much in such a short period of time, Amazon was looking at me kind of seriously. So then I got ungated in topicals, baby, like stuff that I was like, wow, this is going to take a long time. I think my biggest frustration with Amazon right now is I'd like to be ungated in brands and like electronics, which I'm some electronics, some ungated in, but like I'd like to be doing DVDs, which I'm not ungated in, but I'm ungated in everything else except for that in big brands. So if you want to get ungated in most categories, find something grocery related that you're not gated in and sell it. And I would say probably sell it during a time right before a big holiday like Valentine's Day. I mean, I was shocked. The day that the stuff hit the warehouse, I sold $600 worth of product. It blew my mind.
I know that can happen, especially if you're, there's not a lot of competition on that product. So it's insane. Let's finish up with Vin and Charlotte. Let's go with Vin. Vin, any sourcing tips? I like your Scarface house.
Okay.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, sourcing tips. Well, I mean, because of your thinking about a lot of like because right now I'm selling a lot of one-off electronics. I pretty much make a I make relationships with people who buy a lot of pallets, and then they have allowed me to go into their warehouse and pick what I like.
That's a good tip.
You know, instead of like me buying pallets, because I've bought pallets before, I don't like it. It's just way too much junk, and I feel like there's a lot of waste. These people know what they're buying. They know kind of like the value, but they want to just move it fast. So, you know, just treating people respectfully, and because I get to pick, I don't try to lowball too much. I think if you lowball, no one wants to deal with you.
That's
You want
such a great tip.
yeah,
For sure.
like, yeah, and just provide value for them because they're doing a lot for you, and you know, be appreciative, which I am. And right now I'm looking at like all the things that I have, and I'm looking at more customization and replenishables. That right now I own a custom oil painting company that we've opened a Shopify store, and I'm seeing that if how can I because Shopify and Instagram, you have to pay for your traffic, right? It's hard to get people to your site, but I'm thinking how can I leverage that towards eBay and Etsy, and being more focused on getting these replenishables out there, something that I can get done that I already have in place.
That's really good advice. I remember this supplier I bought, he's like, "Do you want these?" I'm like, "Not really." But then he was like, "How about $10?" And I was like, "Okay." And he's like, "Can you make money at that?" And I'm like, "Not really, but hopefully I can get the rest of the stuff that you have in here, because that's like, I'm just gonna throw this away as soon as I leave here. I want to see the other stuff in the store." So yeah, that you can be tiered too. Like if you work with people who buy lots of pallets, let's say you make a $10,000 a week order, you're in this section. If you make a $200,000 order, you're in that section. If you come up with $200 and you get the stuff in the corner that's going to be thrown away, that's okay. Just start there and then move your way up. The people who buy the big pallets are so busy.
Yeah.
And that's why you don't want to do it. It requires usually a crew.
Yeah.
Charlotte?
Yep.
Final thoughts?
I've been working with wholesale liquidation companies for like 6 months, and recently I've found one that I put more work into developing a relationship with them before I made my order, and I think that's really helped because he's emailed me about like specialty lots that they've gotten, like they don't put up on their website because they have a limited quantity, but they'll email me and say, "Hey, I got a lot of this. Are you interested?" So I think just developing a relationship with whoever the warehouse manager is or something, it's been beneficial for me.
All right. Thanks everybody for coming. Appreciate it. If
Hey,
you guys have any
Chris, real
feedback, you
quick.
can. Yeah, go ahead.
I just sold these huge speakers on eBay to someone in Florida, and so I don't know how to ship them. Did you say that you went to the post office with your item and you can pay them and they'll do it, they'll pack it for you?
The UPS store.
Only the UPS store.
Or FedEx.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna go to FedEx. I feel like they're cheaper.
Or you can just be nice and they'll show you how they would pack it.
Yeah.
You know.
And I have to find a box too.
Yeah, you can. Don says he'll call you if you need help.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. If you guys, other people who are new, if you want to stop by every day, I'm here every day but Saturday. Thanks, guys.